So, Sarah, you oh so nicely asked me to collaborate with you, which was super fun and exciting, on your song for your new album that will be coming out soon. And it's called Nessie, right? And so I was just curious, what brought the inspiration to write this song? Why is it called Nessie, or anything that you wish to tell us about the song?
Oh yeah. So like I mean I since we like went to college together and did music together in college, I was like I want to do a collab with Emily. So like it was
Aw.
actually very much inspired by like you being in Scotland. And since the
Aw.
album is mostly about well it's entirely about songs or not I mean there's songs on the album. It's not about it's about stories. The album is about stories and folk tales and classic literature. And I don't know, the Loch Ness Monster has always sort of had a nice it's a nice story.
Yeah,
It's a cool and there are people there who there's some people from the documentary that I watched. There are
yeah,
people who spend their entire lives looking for the Loch Ness monster. And I think that like something in that is like that dedication is very beautiful. Um,
yes,
and
yeah,
so I wanted to create a song that was kind of inspired by that and
great,
somewhat
yeah,
dedicated to those people who spend their entire lives going after something that may not even be real, but like just having
right.
being so hopeful. And I mean, I don't know. I have never met someone who has dedicated their entire life to finding Nessie. Um, but I don't know. I find a lot of beauty in it, just artistically.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really cool. And I know like when you came to me with the idea of having it have something to do with that, like I thought that was just really exciting and also just kind of special in the sense that I have memories of when I was a kid, like being on Loch Ness and like my parents being like, "Oh, let's see if we could see the Loch Ness monster," and things like that. So, and then since I've moved back to Scotland, now I had done like been on their little tour that they do around there and was like back on the boat on Loch Ness and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool and yeah, I love the lyrics and everything that you created with the song is all very beautiful. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had so much fun writing it because like underneath all of that is also a little love story.
yeah,
So it's like there's a lot of subtext. There's so much subtext in the
yeah,
song because on the surface, both people are singing about the Loch Ness monster, but they're actually also singing about each other. And it's sort of like
yeah,
also got like a long distance love romance sort of vibe to
totally.
it.
Yes, yes.
And so it's like that sort of double speak? I don't know if that's actually a term. But it's like that subtext of on the surface it's about Nessie, but if you go deeper, it's actually a love story between two people who are just like separated,
Yeah.
however.
Yeah. And I think that's perfect too, because I think it adds a depth to it as well, because, it's like you could choose to have it be just solely about one thing or the other, but to kind of have it be layered like that is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I love layering things. It's so much fun.
Yes.
So that's I had so much fun writing the lyrics for it because of that subtext there.
Yeah.
It's I love doing stuff like that where it's like layered. It makes it very interesting for me.
Yes. And I've heard that in your music, and it's always really, really cool. I always love
Oh,
it.
thank you.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you did go to Loch Ness when you were a kid and then
Yeah.
as an adult later. That actually does lead into a question that I had for you. How much in the orchestration that you did, how much did you take like inspiration from being in Loch Ness? Because I've never been there. I've seen pictures, I've seen documentaries, but I've never actually been there. It looks gorgeous.
Yes, it's very beautiful. I think sometimes when you go on like the little boat tours, sometimes it can be a bit rushed in all honesty, so you don't always fully get to like enjoy it as much as you could, but it is very cool. Like with the instrumentation, like I don't know how much like anything was specific to Loch Ness specifically, but I guess like I was thinking more of like, even though that's like a lock, like, right? Like, I was thinking of like oceany kind of sounds and like things to do with bodies of water and like that kind of peaceful nature of all of that. And just kind of thinking like a lot of times I tend to score things orchestrally because of doing film music and things like that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just kind of went with like what I felt kind of gave me that vibe that would work along with thinking of like a very peaceful, beautiful body of water, but then also kind of thinking of like because the structure that you gave in order to then have me orchestrate it was so pretty. And like so it was just kind of like when I heard it, it's like I think too, just like hearing what you initially created, then it kind of gave me inspiration, like, oh, I could imagine a flute here or strings here, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a mixture of everything all together, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So how would you like, so I know like with collaborating, it can always be like an interesting process. And I think like we're both in two different locations. If we're recording in two different locations, probably both recording in our bedrooms. At
Yeah.
least I'm recording in my bedroom. And how did you find that in terms of collaborating, with this song? Was anything about it tricky to do? Did you find it like an easy collaborative process? Like how would you say it all felt while we were doing it?
I mean, honestly, I think it was probably pretty easy. It was one of the easiest collabs that I've ever done, I think.
Oh,
Um,
yay.
because like I don't know. I think as long as you have like a decent microphone that you're not like recording onto your phone or your laptop,
Yeah.
like it's pretty easy to work with that. And then also like you already know how to orchestrate, you know how to do music, and it's like and yeah, I feel like it was a pretty easy collaboration. It was just a matter of like getting things uploaded and to the shared file and then like downloading and then popping it in and being like, oh, okay, this is how it lines up. And yeah, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Um, because it was also, it's easier to do it on your own time. Um,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like you don't have to schedule a time to have someone come over to your house. You don't because like I also record in my bedroom and my bedroom is very, very small. It is
Mhm.
it's so small that I actually have to have a loft bed. And
Aw.
so um yeah, it avoids the awkwardness of like come into my studio which is tiny. Which I did actually for another song. I had a friend come over and he plays double bass.
Oh,
So
nice.
there were two full-grown adults and a double bass in my teeny tiny bedroom, and it was quite a tight fit. But anyways, yeah, it was a very easy collaboration because it was like I didn't have the awkwardness of having to invite someone over and being like, I'm sorry about the space. I know it doesn't look professional, but it works, I swear. Um,
I mean,
and
honestly, I think anyone in music totally understands that. I think so many people more often than not have their at-home studios that are just like their bedroom or their living room, and they have things set up in a way until like, it reaches a point where then you could get like a really cool studio. But
yeah. Yeah, mine is very homemade, very bedroom. But yeah, it was a really easy collaboration and also like just knowing that you know how to do music and like
Aw,
you do music professionally. So that also made it really, really easy because I didn't have to ask you to redo anything.
yeah.
Because like you kind of knew what it needed to sound like already. Which is really, really nice. I have had to
Huh.
ask people to redo things before, and that's
Yeah.
always awkward and I hate doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I think that's part of the creative process, right? Like it's, and I think it's always nice when you do collab and it does go so well, because I think we're friends and like we've known each other for a while, like you says we have like I think sang and played instruments together, right? At Mariners
Yeah.
when we both went there. And so
Yeah.
like I think all of that also added a layer of comfort, and like I've heard your music many times before and your beautiful voice and all of the millions of instruments you play. And so like I knew that you were going to create something really cool, and so like I
Oh.
was I was like a little nervous of like I'm just like okay, like I'm more confident with like composing than I am with singing.
Oh.
Even though I teach singing, I was just like, oh my gosh, like how is this going to turn out? And I'm really, really happy with how it's turned out. So yeah.
Yay. Honestly, like your vibrato is so beautiful. I love your vibrato so much. Um,
Aw.
but yeah, it's kind of like there's another person who I collabed with, the same person with the double bass. I also asked him to do some singing, and he
Yeah.
was also very shy and timid about it, even though he also
Yeah.
teaches singing. And it's
Yeah.
like singing is very much one of those instruments where people just get it is intimidating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think your vocal parts turned out so good.
Thank you.
I
Yours are very beautiful, and I'm so excited for like people to hear it. So yeah.
am too. Oh my gosh, I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Oh, oh my
So
gosh.
excited.
Yeah. Do you want to? I mean, I don't think you want to, but if you want to, do you want to announce like when you're thinking of releasing your album where
Oh,
this song
yeah.
can then be heard?
Yeah, so I finally nailed down the release date. I sent it off to my distributor and everything was approved. I'm so excited. It is May 29th. So it's coming up pretty
Exciting. It's coming
soon.
up really soon. Yay.
Yeah. I could have pushed it out further, but I was impatient.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
get
like, I
that.
just want it out in the world.
Yes, I mean, you've
'Cause
been working on it for a little while now, right? And you've worked so
two
hard at
years.
it. I mean, yeah. So
It's been
see,
two
like,
years.
oh my gosh, I'm so excited to hear the other music on it too. Like, so exciting.
I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome.
Yes. Very
So for the
cool.
orchestration that you did, I noticed that it's not, I mean, like most of it is pretty standard, but there's some stuff that's not quite standard about the instrumentation. So like there isn't oboe or bassoon or trumpets in it. And I might be forgetting another like other instruments. It's been a while
Yeah.
since I've done orchestration.
Yeah.
But what made you decide on the instrumentation?
Ooh. Um, Honestly, like it's just kind of like I think it's probably because sometimes when I do orchestral sounding things like and it's for say like film or something, like it doesn't always require or maybe they don't always want like all of the instruments of the orchestra, right? And so I think I just kind of gravitated honestly towards instruments that I tend to use often. But just I love like the sound of those instruments, and I yeah, like I've always let's see, what did I use in it? Now I'm trying. Oh, I have the. Do I have it? No, I don't. I thought I had the sheet
I can
music
pull it
next
up
to me,
really
but
quick.
that yeah, I think
I have it. Let's see. It is you used bass drum, cello, clarinet, cymbal, double bass, flute, horn, which I'm assuming is French horn,
mhm.
piano, trombone, viola, violin, and waves. The
I did
whoosh.
have waves. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like I think yeah, I guess there's no like it's so funny when I compose for things because I kind of go into this very like zone. Like it's like I just kind of like get an idea and then I kind of roll with it, and then it's like especially if I get something where it keeps helping me like come with ideas, and also like in the sense that a lot of times like when I compose I'm used to just composing it myself, so it was cool to like have it be like you came up with all of it, like the structure and the chords and like the melody and the lyrics and all of that, and then I took that and then thought, okay, what can work along with the vocals that it's not going to necessarily like overpower the vocals. So that was probably
Oh.
part of it too. And I was trying to think of, I was also kind of thinking of kind of like imagining it all kind of like waves in a sense. So it's kind of like, you know how sometimes a sound pulls, kind of crescent, like in a wave, like of a ocean, like the sound
Yeah.
will sometimes like be a little bit louder and then kind of get quieter. So kind of like that kind of vibe was kind of in my mind. And so I
Oh,
just kind of think, yeah, those are just kind of the instruments that naturally kind of came to mind that I felt could work. I don't know if I could have necessarily imagined trumpet in there, although it probably could have been a cool layer for sure. Um, you know, a lot of times when I have used trumpet, I think I've used it like in things that are like if it's like for like a film score where something's like action based and then you're like having it maybe play something like shorter notes or something that are kind of fast or something. So it didn't really occur to me for certain instruments. I guess it was just kind of what I did. And so when I go into the zone, it's like sometimes I'll do things and then after I'm done, I honestly sometimes go through almost an amnesia of like what I've done. So so it's kind of hard to always talk about because then I'm just like, wait, what was I actually thinking when I was doing it? So
I get that.
yeah.
I totally get that. That happens to me sometimes too.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's really, really cool that you mentioned about the like the crescendo and the decrescendo, the sort of like I don't know, but it's like this when it's written
Yeah.
down on paper.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the crescendo and decrescendo. Oh, that's so because I did notice that when I was putting it into my program. I'm like, it's so quiet here, and then it's like, oh, but it's loud here. And so trying
Yeah.
to nestle the vocals into that was really interesting. I had to do I call it EQ carving.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually the technical term to it because I kind of like I'm very much a homebrew sort of mixer and
Yeah.
masterer person. So I know what things do, but I don't always know the vocabulary for it.
Same,
But
same with me.
I call it EQ carving, where you boost the EQ on the vocals in one spot, and then on all the instruments, you lower it in that same frequency, in that same
Yeah.
spot. And so it makes the vocals where they can sit inside the mix without being overpowered by the instruments or without competing for space, in that
Ah,
one frequency. So,
yeah.
I did a lot of that and I did a pretty aggressive EQ carving for the vocals because it does crescendo and decrescendo so much.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I didn't want the vocals to become too overpowered when it crescendos, but I wanted it
Yeah.
to also sound balanced. And so now
Yeah.
that you mentioned that it's for waves, it's like, oh, that makes so much sense. I love that.
Yeah, it's something I never thought to even mention. And now that I think about it as we're talking about it, it probably made it so difficult for mixing stuff as opposed to actually making it more comfortable.
Not really. It was mostly like, oh, okay, I kind of see what's going on here. And so I mean, honestly, I think the emptier spaces allowed me to add more vocal layers in because there's also like
Yes.
some vocal background stuff that I added. And I added some like organic flute. Like the actual instrument flute.
Yes, that sounded so nice. Yeah.
And so it allowed more space for that. So I may have accidentally covered up some of the waves. Um, but
Yeah. How it turned out is so cool. And like, I love how you use that. It's kind of like your Sarah thing of adding layers of everything into your songs, which sounds so cool. Like
oh, thank you.
I really, really love like I think like that can certainly be heard in this song as well as like, songs I've heard that you've done in the past. And like, is there anything, do you feel like all of the songs on your album, is there um any kind of like things that um what am I looking for? Anything that with all the songs in your album you feel kind of like have in similarities with certain songs, or are they all quite different from each other? Or
Oh, that's actually a really interesting question. So it's I'm not going to be able to pronounce this word. But it motives. How do you pronounce it? Because you actually use these things in actual composition for actual movies and
yeah,
stuff.
I would say
Do you pronounce
motif.
it
Yeah.
motif? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was never sure if it was motive or motif. Motif sounds fancier and sounds
I
more
think it
proper.
can be both. I think both are
Okay.
used, honestly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So every single song is kind of a different genre.
Yeah,
So
cool.
the songs themselves sound very, very different. They're each their own little world because like they're based on stories and every story is different. But there are some through
Ah.
lines that go through them. And those are
Oh,
the motifs. Um, and
nice.
so like what one is in Nessie, it's the if only I wasn't lonely. Wait, is that the words? If
Yeah,
only if only
yeah,
we weren't Oh, if only we didn't have to be so lonely. But
yeah.
the lonely portion of it is a motif that goes through. The if only and lonely
Oh,
rhyme
cool.
scheme goes through the entire album and it pops up in certain songs.
Oh,
And so
that's so cool.
there's a lot of motifs that happen throughout it that sort of tie everything together because the songs do sound drastically different and they don't sound like they belong together on an album.
Hmm.
So I had to tie them together in some way. And it creates this overarching story within, like, this overarching story that's told through miniature stories.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. And it just gives a reason for people when they're listening to your album to then re-listen and kind of see if they can find those parts of the songs and stuff. First just listen to as is,
Yeah.
not thinking about it, and then kind of re-listen through to kind of hear all those little hidden things that are in there. That's really cool.
It very much is an album that you have to listen to more than once.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I mean, I've spent 2 years working on it and listening to it so much. And now that it's all done, I'm listening through all of the songs just over and over again. And I'm like, oh right, I included that part in there. There's some songs that I finished like a year and a half ago that I've forgotten about that I'm now listening to, and I'm like, oh right, wait, that's cool. Thank you, Past Sarah.
That's funny. You're thanking
But
your past self. That's always
I
good.
I think my past self, I think about my future self. It's yeah.
That's always good.
But yeah, it's the songs are they're very different. But there are through lines. There are motifs that pop up in certain songs and you'll hear them. So yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that. I look forward to like listening through and then trying to find those
Yeah, there's so many. I mean, honestly, like there's even some small ones that are popping out at me now that I'm like, oh wait, I didn't make that
that you
connection before.
forgot
And I
about.
wrote the dang thing. So it's like there's so many layers. I think what happened is in some spots I kind of I don't know, when you create something, it has its own sort of meaning, and then when you go back and listen to it afterwards, then it like the meaning sometimes changes depending on where you're at in life. And
Yeah,
since this has been a 2 year project, like, and my life has changed a lot over the past 2 years,
yeah,
um, like I go back and I listen to it and it has a slightly different meaning to me than when I first wrote it. Um,
yes.
and so
That makes sense.
it's really cool going back through and seeing all the through lines and kind of how they have emotionally evolved for me. Even though it's the same motif, it kind of like changes as I have changed. Um,
Yeah. Oh, that is really cool. I think that's kind of special, like to be able to create something that does kind of change over time depending on how you're feeling at that moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like a lot of music tends to do that. Like you'll listen to a song when you're, I don't know, maybe like 15 years old, and then you'll hear
Yeah.
it again when you're 30 and be like, whoa, I didn't realize that song was that deep.
Or you just don't realize like at the time what certain lyrics actually meant. So it's like
That's
I would I would listen, I'd be like, "Oh, I didn't realize that was such a dirty song."
Mhm. That's happened to me a couple of times. There were some songs that I grew up listening to that my dad encouraged me to listen to, and I listen to it now and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what?"
Too funny. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. I don't think I can think of any other questions that you haven't answered. I
I
think
do
that
have
the
one more question for
yeah,
you. You said that this project was different from how you normally do things in
yeah.
like the orchestration composing world. So how was it different?
Yeah, I think it's just different in the sense that I haven't really collaborated musically with many people. So it's kind of like a lot of times I'm just working on my own. And so it's like I'll just yeah, I'll collaborate with people, but it's like I'm the one doing the music and maybe they're like directing the film or whatever. Um, and like, for example, like with the podcast that I do with my friend, like she had came up, we kind of collaborated a bit on like the little end tune that we have at the end of our podcast. Like she came up with something, then I added something on it too. But besides that, and then like working with you, like I don't think I've from what I can think of at least, that I've ever actually musically like combined ideas. Because like I know like sometimes like composers like in film will sometimes work on in teams with other composers. Like, I've always mainly worked in indie, like little tiny films. And so it's always just me. And so I think that's where it's like most different is just because I have less experience with actually getting to create music with another musical person, where we kind of combine ideas. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't do a ton of collaboration either. Like I do some. I have done collabs. Sometimes they stress me out though, because it's
Yeah,
like it's having to rely on another person and sometimes it's like I hope the other person is reliable.
yeah. No,
But
I
working
get
with you has
that.
been
Yeah.
fantastic.
Aw, thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun working with you. And like, I think too, also like where it was also different for me is like, I don't, um, like when I was a teenager, I would maybe write like vocal music and write little pop songs, but I wouldn't even fully write it. I would just like write out lyrics and like in my head kind of know how to sing it. It was like before I studied anything with music really. Um and so I think too like then like when you asked me if I wanted to collaborate and like I was just like, oh, like what would I do? Like, does she want me to do like the instrumental? And then like you had mentioned, maybe like orchestrating it. And then you mentioned, oh, well, you could sing on it too. And then I was like, oh, she wants me to sing. Ah, okay. Like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. I will do it. It will be something different, because I don't really think I have much of anything where I have actually recorded vocals of myself that has went out into the world, maybe for myself in the past. If I've just like been like working on something and just kind of seeing how something sounds. But otherwise vocal stuff I've been like away from for like quite a while. Like even though like I worked a lot on my like I kind of initially before I got into composition did like vocal performance and everything, like all of that like then kind of got like shut down in a sense and I like focused on composing. And so I always worked on my singing voice, but as you know, I always had an anxiety with like performing with singing and all of that. And even though I teach singing and stuff, like there was a lot with that was kind of like negative. So so
Oh.
it was nice to do something like kind of be like, okay, like I can be okay with figuring like my voice will be out there. It may not be the best voice in the world, but it sounds real. I think both of our voices sound nice together. And like I think it's a really beautiful song. So yeah, I'm happy
Oh.
with how it turned out.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're happy. Yeah, singing can be so vulnerable, and
Yeah.
especially if you're not used to it, especially if you're not used to putting your voice out there.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it is very vulnerable because it's like it's an instrument that's attached to us. Like we can't change our voice that much. We can change like little bits and
Exactly.
pieces of it and try to go in a certain direction with it, but our voice is always going to be our voice.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
so it can be very vulnerable because it's like, oh, well, if I sound bad, if my voice sounds bad, then it like we internalize that so much more than if an
Yeah.
instrument sounds bad.
Yeah, and I think there's
Um,
so much also like scrutiny out there. Like when I teach students, for example, so many of them, adults and younger students, would come to me saying that like a family member or a friend or a school, like a teacher or something, like said something horrible about their voice, saying that they just sucked and couldn't sing. And it's like one of
mhm.
those things that is like any other instrument that you have to work on it. Like some people might have more of a natural ability than others, but it's always something that you have to work on. You're not going to just suddenly know how to play the cello or the piano, you know, and some days, you might not be able to play them as well as other days, and so it's like I
Yeah.
think people with the voice get very used to first off hearing certain kinds of voices, I think, and then they judge very easily. But honestly,
Mhm.
like I'm to a point now, like with judgment with things, I'm just like, meh, I'm just me, I'm a weirdo, like take it or leave it.
Oh. No, but I think your voice is absolutely beautiful too. So
uh,
like it
Thank
worked
you.
really, really well with the song. But like, yeah, you're right about like just the scrutiny about people singing. Like I
Yeah.
also have voice students who come to me and like one of them was even like I've been told that I'm tone deaf by like many different people. One
uh,
of my students was told that he was tone deaf by a college professor and he was studying music. Um
wow.
and so he's not tone deaf.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Yeah.
it's just for some people it takes a little bit longer to know how to control the voice and like
Exactly.
there's a physical component to it as well. It's not all mental.
Yeah.
A lot of it, singing is probably the most mental instrument that there is in terms of like thinking through it. But like there is physical aspects to it as well, and you have to figure out how to
Exactly. Yeah.
get the tongue to do what it needs to do and the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
to figure out how to get all that to work, your lungs, and all of it has to line up in a certain way. But yeah, it's so I kind of hate it how like discouraged people get about their voices if their
Yeah.
voice doesn't sound good from the get-go.
Yeah.
I think everybody has a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I know, right?